time is 6 p.m. The Council of the City of Denison now convenes into regular session. Tonight's invocation will be given by Jeff Johnson, pastor of the First Christian Church. Welcome.
All right, together. God, thank you so much for the opportunity we have tonight to be able to talk about our community. Pray you bless the conversation. Thank you for the freedom to do so. Thank you for all these people who willingly serve this community. And we pray this in Christ's name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda item number 2, consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I move for approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Gott, second from Councilman Spiegel. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 3A, contract with Intermedics for emergency building chief Joy. Emergency building.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. We've got two items, one back to back. I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of an overview because they tie together. I think it'll make the explanation a little bit simpler. We are trying to rescind a contract with our current EMS billing provider, which is Intermedics, and enter into a new contract with a new billing provider, which will be Emergicon. Each of those entities have a electronic patient care reporting attachment to them. So that comes with it. So we would be exiting Intermedics and entering into an agreement with Emergicon. A couple of things that have put it on the agenda. We have a January 1st deadline for new federal requirement for reporting. So all of these companies that do this electronic patient care reporting are having to retool to meet these standards. So, as you might remember from me having been before you a time or two, we have kind of retooled the fire department electronically. We've gotten a new record management software. We've gotten a new scheduling software. So these guys are kind of loaded up with technologically transferring over their systems right now. So they're a little bit overloaded with that. So when this came in front of us, we were intending to put this off till next year. However, given the new reporting standard and the fact that we found out our current contractor vendor with billing is going to completely retool we're going to be forced to learn a new electronic patient care reporting system. So it seemed an opportunity to go ahead and switch over to Emergicon, which is what we were planning to do all along, so that the guys wouldn't have to learn two systems right back to back. So item 3A is to hold a discussion and ask for your approval to rescind that contract with Intermedics, and then B would be to enter into the new contract with Emergicon. Emergicon has put a proposal on the board that projects to yield us an additional $300,000 a year in revenue. The other thing it does, the back side of that electronic patient care report for administration gives me the ability to perform far more analytics on our service delivery, so I know a whole lot more about what we're doing out in the field by virtue of the reports and the things that I can query, that data that I can query. Currently with Intermedics, I have to ask for those. So when you go through the process of analyzing some of this stuff, you end up asking for a report and they give it to you, and it comes with some data, but it also generates more questions. So then I have to ask them for another report, and it's cumbersome. So the efficiency of being able to query all that myself is very valuable to me. So that's what we're doing right now, is asking A, to rescind that Intermedics agreement, and B, to enter into an Emergicon agreement.
Okay, we'll open up for questions for council, and I've got a few just to kind of get it going. So you had mentioned that they think that they can collect, not bill, collect additional $300,000. It's the packet, I think it says 200.
That was the projection they gave when we were at 9.5%, and they've dropped the percentage to 8.5%. So that's for the additional 100,000 comes in. So the original projection was based on a 9.5% commission.
Okay.
And they dropped it to 8.5. So we negotiated down to 8.5.
But that's
what? So they would only keep 8.5% of the revenue, so a percent would go to us.
So that 8.5%, that 1% delta is $100,000.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. So, and that was gonna be my next question, so now at 8.5%, that matches the Intermedics contract?
They're at 7.5%.
Oh, they're at 7.5%.
They're at 7.5%. So what Emergicon does with their proposal, and just to give you a little history on the two companies, Intermedics started a long time ago. I was south of here, and when they first started, they were a very, very good, homegrown, Texas-based product, and they real good customer service, and they would tailor their billing to your demographic, and there's several ways they can bill. They can bill individual items, consumable packages, several, but they just kind of matched it to what they were going to be collecting from, whether it be Medicare, private insurance, whatever. They evolved into an investor product, which has some benefits, but it also has some things that come with it that we don't care for too much. One of which is the removal of the ability to query all that data. Another thing is one example, if Medicare allows for the billing of a deceased patient, it's the only non-transport we can bill for by Medicare rules. We don't like to do that. And Intermedics will void that bill, but they won't not bill it. So the widow or widower gets the bill and then has to be told, okay, don't worry about it. We'd rather them just not get it. And so Emergicon tailors the billing really based on our demographic. They've looked at a year's worth of our data, and that's how they came up with their prediction. Right? They looked at that data and said, yeah, we can tweak this billing and do it a little bit different way, which is not entirely available with Intermedics. I mean, they could do it, but they're just set up not to, so it's difficult to get them.
And Renee, I know that from the finance side, y'all have had some issues with Intermedics in the past on their ability to collect. You know, I hope you're right on the 300,000. I mean, that'd be great. I mean, I think what's most important to me is that you're one, that your department can have a system that's user-friendly and productive for the EMS needs, and then that the new company can bill appropriately and knows the modifiers and good AR practice and good collection practices to go after these insurance companies for what is allowable in the medical billing world. I mean, that's going to be so.
And that's what we hope to. You know, I've had some experience with them with Emergicon, and Christopher Turner, who's the ex-CFO of CareFlight, is the one that owns the company. And much like many finance folks, he's learned throughout his career, he definitely is an under-promise, over-deliver kind of person. So I've never known him to not hit a prediction. Now, that doesn't mean he's gonna hit this one, obviously no guarantee, but it does give me confidence having a little bit of that history. And again, the ability to get access to our data and look at it and see what we're doing and see what we're billing and identify documentation errors in the field and trends so that we can change those has a lot of value to me, because without that, I'm kind of flying blind a little bit.
Other questions?
Chief Lloyd, is there any penalty involved in rescinding the contract?
There is not. Intermedics let us out of the contract, so that's the reason for the rescission, so we have penalties for it.
Is the database limited to just billing in this case?
Yeah, that's what the vendors,
So
yes.
that's the total scope of it.
And the electronic patient care report that's, so the in the field, when they're taking your information on a laptop or whatever, that's the electronic patient care report. So that comes, typically that's general practice for it to be with the billing contract. So we'll be switching from devices from a Toughbook to a Surface Pro, I think is what they're providing. And then they will administer our electronic patient care report. They're provided training for it and all that kind of thing. So we'll be receiving that training and hoping to transition over the first week of January.
Renee, who's going to manage the old AR? So if we go live on March 1st or April 1st or whatever, that old AR under Intermedics, who's going to continue to pursue that?
Intermedics will take care of it for the next,
60
till
days.
February 27th, and then Emergicon will.
It's very, very common for the current vendor to go back and work those accounts. And that's, so to give you a little history on that, typically, the outgoing vendor, all of their aggressive efforts aren't put into an account that's phasing out. So there's usually always some revenue to recapture going back, and they will, Emergicon will absolutely do that.
Motion from council?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilman Brawley, second from Councilman Hanley. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Agenda item 3B, the actual approval of the EMS software and service from electronic healthcare reporting software, with electronic healthcare reporting with Emergicon. We've heard the presentation, so I'll call for a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion from Councilmember Gott, second from Councilman Hanley, all in favor by saying aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Agenda item 3C, approve change order request for payment from Beavers Contracting. Mr. Adberry.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. What you have before you is a change order request on the Randall Lake project. And I've got some slides I want to show you of the extra excavation and concrete work that,
The down button, no, there you go.
wrong way, sorry. Gives you an idea of what the project looked like at one point. I can't see very well up here. We had a lot of rain that washed out, so it was hard to really determine what the quantities were on the cubic yards that had to be excavated as they did the project. We're at the end of the project now, and everything has been measured, topographics have been taken, so that we believe the quantities to be correct and true. And of course, with more excavation, there was more concrete that had to be placed back in. If you haven't seen it, it's a pretty amazing project. It was a huge project, and the final finished product, you can see some of the equipment moving the dirt there. They put back in the roller compacted concrete, which is a concrete mixture that they make in a batch plant, and they lay it down and put it in the rollers. They don't finish it like you would normally finish concrete. That is our water plant superintendent at the bottom, so that gives you an idea of how much we excavated there. And there's the concrete going back in. Again, I just wanted to give you some ideas of the massive amount. This was where the water was actually going over, that's called a scour wall, and it was going over that and washing that out. And that had to be re-excavated and laid back in so that that wouldn't happen again. And then they lay it in pads and bring it up to the top. Just some good shots of construction there. There's the roller compacted concrete. We now actually, and that's what this shot is, have a road from the top of the spillway, a concrete road that we can drive all the way across and go down and access the project easier, so it gives you an idea. The total contract amount originally was $2.181274 million, and this change order is $108,731,000. That brings our total change orders. We had previously $35,947 in change orders, so our total to date is $144,678, and that's about 6.63% of the total contract. So we would ask for your approval of this change order.
Questions for council?
Just for clarification, when they were doing the excavation of the project, the degradation of the material was more so than what they originally thought?
Yes,
So there was more excavation, so more concrete was required to go back in place?
that's correct. Exactly right.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion from Councilman Hanley, second from Councilman Rowley, all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Agenda item 3D, approve the contract with New World Contracting for construction services. Mr. Atterbury.
We had 4 bids. This is for a construction project at our municipal service center. It's actually the area where the Public Works help gathers for the morning and gets their assignments, their staging area. There's about 100 people that use that particular area. It's in very poor shape. So for a couple of years, there has been an attempt to put a budget together to do this and do this work. We went out for bids. We received 4 bids. They ranged from the $444,807 all the way up to $505,000 in price. And our architect has checked out the low bidder. They've not worked for us before, but he's checked the references, checked the bonds. Everything seems to be in place, so we're recommending that we award the bid to New World Construction.
Questions from council?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion from Councilman Hanley, second from Councilmember Dodd. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Agenda item 3E. Adopting ordinance accepting the Section 108 guarantee loan under Section 108 of the Housing and Community Development Act, 1974. Mr. Raymond.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight for your review and approval is an ordinance related to our Section 108 loan. So we received news from the DC office of HUD a couple weeks back that our loan package has been approved, received preliminary approval. The ordinance before you is part of the collateral pledge. So what the ordinance says is that the primary repayment for the loan is future year CDBG allocations. Be about $190,000 per year. Our loan amount is about $1.55 million. In the event that CDBG money goes away in the future, which we don't anticipate in the next 10 years, the life of our loan, the city commits to pledging ad valorem taxes as the revenue stream to repay the loan. Again, we don't anticipate that that's a reality, but that is part of the terms of the loan. So pending your approval tonight, we have a construction manager on board. We'll have a contract for your review and approval in January. We're still on track to do a whole lot of street work in spring 2017. So happy to answer any questions you might have.
Question from council. Motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion from Councilman Hanley, second from Councilman Spiegel. All in favor by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Gavin. I know you spent a lot of work getting that. Council, now go into executive session pursuant to Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code to talk about contemplated litigation and pending litigation in West Sears, to confer with the attorney, discuss pending litigation on Bill Wright versus City of Denison, to discuss board appointments to the tax increment financing reinvestment fund number 3, and discuss economic development negotiations. Time is 6:17.